Hi, I'm Taylor with Altura Consulting, a boutique consulting firm that specializes in Workday post-production support. There are some awesome changes to time tracking and absence in the 2021 R1 update. We all like a good brainstorm on Community. They can get juicy, and they can take a long time to come to fruition. Watching paint dry is one thing. This is more like watching wine age, but when it's ready, it is worth it. We've seen brainstorms going as far back as 7 years for this update, and we're finally getting segmented security for time off. This update allows you to control who can request and correct certain time off types. This functionality already exists for leave of absence, but not time off. Before the update, we had to make BP validations and complex condition rules to configure who could control or request time off. In other words, this update streamlines the config by creating time-off security segments. You no longer need to meddle with hours of BP validations or get slammed with an inbox full of incorrect time-off requests. You could, for example, create different time-off security access for managers, all employees, and administrators. Look for the new task Create Time-Off Security segment. The process to do so is essentially the same as creating any segment-based security group. After that, just add your new time-off segmented security group to the new domain, time-off segmented setup. These are two separate updates from Workday, but the setup shares the same core task. For years, it feels like customers couldn't catch a break with meal and break check-ins. Previously, we had to get creative with custom objects, work tags, validations, and so on. With this update, you can easily configure rules for meals and breaks, and add the rules to relevant time entry templates. To show this, let's configure the rules for a 1-hour lunch break. Navigate to the Create Time Attestation Rule task. The out type is meal, and the duration in minutes will be 60. As for the severity level, let's say the employer wants to use a critical warning to ensure the worker takes their full hour. The Show Time in Prompt checkbox is definitely recommended. It will display how many minutes are remaining in the worker's break if they try to check in early. You will also need to configure prompts and responses in the task Maintain Time Attestation Prompt. You will tie all this together by editing the time entry template. Before we do that, I want to quickly talk about end-of-shift updates though. This update applies to the check-in, check-out entry methods. Let's once again navigate to Create Time Attestation Rule and select End of Shift. Add the condition rule, prompts, and responses. Now we can tie out both the meal check-ins and end-of-shift attestations by editing the correct time entry template. There are many more updates coming out in this release. Be sure to follow us so you don't miss out on our other release highlights for HCM and integrations. If you would like to schedule a meeting with an Altura consultant to review updates that may be relevant to your tenant, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to assist in elevating your workday.